I was a photographer, a very basic photographer in my early years as a reporter, and this was at papers that were so small and inconsequential they wouldn't have a photographer for you. You had to take your own pictures. So I learned how camera worked. But then when digital photography came, I really came back to it and found that there was something really powerful about photography. I worked with photographers all the way through my years at newspapers, so I love photography. But bird photography is a separate thing entirely, and it's really a way of watching birds, because taking the picture is the least of it. You really have to understand what the bird is doing, what it might do next, try to understand how it's moving to get the picture that puts it in that location. It's really like learning something late in life, relearning a whole new thing, and it's still work that I'm constantly trying to figure out and studying.
And Ray, you mentioned patience. Well, I can tell you that it takes so much patience, and you have to be really stubborn. And it's like, I'm beside Anders, and I'll go, wait a minute, we've been looking at this one woodpecker for an hour now, and haven't you got it yet? And he will stand there all day if he needs to get the best picture. And of course, there's the light and the weather and everything else, but you've got to be there. So as a journalist in the old days when there was film, it was F8 and be there. Well, now it's take how many pictures? 3,000 maybe in a day, and stay there.
Yeah. But I also think the photography is a way of communicating about nature that's very powerful. If you go back over the history of the creation of the laws and the national parks that are the reason we still have birds, it's usually a photographer was out there taking pictures that would be shown to Ulysses S. Grant, for instance, when they formed some of the national parks, or Theodore Roosevelt was swayed by the photos that came in from the West. And in a way, that's happening again. There's all these hobbyists, and I consider myself a hobbyist photographer, who are out there taking pictures that are flooding the internet and showing people what birds look like, amazing pictures, because digital photography can do things that was not possible to do with birds in flight, moving, to how they behave.
And also video, too.
Yeah, video. Video is an important piece of it as well.